The Super Over Podcast.
With me, JP Duminy.
And it's me, Jemimah Rodrigues.
Hey. Hello, welcome to the Super Over Podcast. Liam Flint here, and of course this is our cricket podcast where we're all about giving you a bit of a taste of what it's like to be a professional cricketer. And I say that because the two people alongside me who co-host this show are/were pro cricketers. So delighted to have JP join us from Cape Town, and we've got Jemmy joining us from Mumbai. And we basically want to help you to understand what it's like for these guys playing cricket, all the stuff you have to go through, how their faith helps them, and we're also going to chat a bit about news as well. So, Japes, how you doing there?
All good, brother. It's been a while. How you been?
Yeah, it's been a month. So, I've gotten friendships that we're about to rekindle here for the next half an hour or so. But yeah, we need to do a public apology, Jem, don't we?
Yes, I mean, it's been a long time. Actually, in between, I wasn't well, so we were supposed to do this like 2 weeks before. But then, so finally we are here, and I've come with an upgrade. I've become 20 also. I have a mic, so yeah, this is what happens in a month.
So should we just throw in the deep end there?
It's a big week for Jemmy.
Do you think we should throw in the deep end there, seeing that she needs to make up for what has gone in the last while?
Well, exactly.
She did say that
we weren't going to set us our fault.
She did say that she's got a piano literally below the mic. So two and two together, a little soiree there, maybe, Jem.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What about an interlude?
Oh, yeah. So right here is where we have our church Zoom sessions online. So this is the keyboard right now, but then I'll have to connect it through the sound card and everything, and nothing is done. So I think that will be another,
Yeah, mate, she only plays the guitar, and of course, she'd have to set it all up. I love how sorry, JP, I couldn't hear you there. Just try and get away from the question.
No, I was serious. I wasn't.
Like, we're losing you. That was clever. Right, Jem, it's been a big week for you. Not only have you got an upgrade and you've now got a better mic than I have, but you've also had a birthday. How old are you?
Mm-hmm. I am 20. I actually can't believe I'm 20.
Officially.
It went really well. Yeah, officially 20. It went really well. So I had my cousins come at 12 midnight at home. So then the whole night we didn't sleep till around 5:30 or something. Then we have, normally on Saturdays in the morning we have a prayer, like family prayer. So we did that, and then I slept at 10:30 to 12:30. So I just had 2 hours of sleep, and then again with the family something. And then surprisingly, there were more guests home, and we were totally unprepared for that. But yeah, they say, just unexpected things go really well. So yeah, it went on really well. And after so long, like our whole family was together and we had a fun time. So it was good.
I believe that Sachin Tendulkar came around as well.
No, not really. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say now.
He set you up.
JP has been taking my case on the group. So guys, we have a Super Over Podcast group, and there JP sent me a screenshot. And yeah, so.
He's got friends in high places, people.
He's got friends in high places, buddy.
Yeah, that is. Even you can't compete with that, JP, can you?
Nah. Look, there's certain things that you try to compete with, but unfortunately, Sachin Tendulkar, there's not much better than that, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to just let everyone go.
But you've played with
him. Yeah,
him.
you played against him though, JP.
You've played with him in the same team. Against him and even Mumbai Indians when he was there. So.
Liam, let's just get it right. I played with him as well. Thank you. No, he's a top man. And just for the record, I sent that picture on our group. But let's just talk about what it said, though. I mean, it spoke about what a genuine human being you are, and highly talented, highly skillful. So it was a great compliment from a great guy, and you'll take it with both hands, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I didn't expect it. That's what I was telling Liam just before we could start recording, that I really didn't expect that Sachin Sir would actually tweet something, and the way he wrote it. So it really meant a lot to me, and I'm really grateful that, I've got a few opportunities even to speak to him, to go to his house and talk to him, especially before my India debut, when I just got a call that the India call-up, so he had called me home. And so, that just shows, even though he's such a big legend, and in India, he's like the god of cricket. But in spite of that, he wants youngsters and other people to learn and grow and do well. So that is the kind of person he is, and I really admire that about him.
No, sure.
Yeah. He's a top man. Gemma, you know
Yeah.
how Indian weddings can go on for like a few days and it's just like a massive party? Is it the same with birthdays? Are birthdays the same or not?
No, not as much as our Indian weddings. And in our house, we really don't celebrate birthdays a lot, like very grand kind of a thing. So even this time we had nothing planned, as I said. It just happened with the flow. So yeah, I mean, there were a few messages that came afterwards and a few cakes the next day. But yeah, apart from that, nothing else.
A few cakes, multiple cakes.
Yeah.
That's a great birthday.
Yeah.
Hands down. JP, do you remember your 20th birthday?
Did you just see the lights come back on?
That was a long time ago.
My 20th birthday. So,
Probably in a nightclub somewhere.
Slowly there, boy. How did
Getting
you
his
know?
ear pierced.
How did you know? So I was 20. I was 20 when I made my debut for South Africa. Not necessarily my birthday, but yeah, that's the one thing I remember about being 20 was my debut, which was, it wasn't my best experience in international cricket, but nevertheless a milestone, I guess. Playing at such a young age. I don't think it's happened many times in our country where somebody of that age has represented their country. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, I'm sure.
Right, come on then. Let's have a little wisdom imparting moment. What would you say now to your 20-year-old self after all you know now and the career you had? And obviously this applies to Jemmy as well. What would you be saying?
Well, this particular thing that I'm about to say doesn't, it's not for Jem, it's for me being a 20-year-old. You need Jesus in your life, brother. No, but on a serious note, I mean,
Good advice.
that's probably something that I would have told myself. I think as most youngsters, we feel like the sun shines up our backsides and everything is about us. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in the last, call it 10 years, is what it actually means, or what fulfillment you get in serving people and serving others, like just having a servant mentality. And if we think about our biggest role model in Jesus, I mean, that was his leadership style. It was about serving fellow man. It was serving others, washing their feet, as a gesture of serving them. So I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, well done. That was very good. On the spot, wisdom imparting. Jemmy can take bits of that for herself. Just yeah, she'll make do.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is quite momentous for us, isn't it?
It is. I was just about to ask like a Corona catch-up. I mean, how's that going in our countries and stuff like that? What's been happening in the UK?
So our cases are now going up quite a bit. So I think as of yesterday, we had 1,500 around there new cases. So that's the most we've had since May. And they're citing like the young generation for that. So universities are now open, schools are now open. We've got lots of international students coming to study. And they just think it's a bit of a perfect storm. So yeah, my generation are getting whacked a little bit in the news because there's lots of youths not doing what they should be doing. But yeah, the general picture is it's climbing, but compared to where it was before lockdown, it's still not too bad. But yeah, it's sadly headed in the wrong direction. But I think we're always expecting second waves, weren't we? Like wherever we live, this might be an ongoing thing now. It's not going to be over within the next couple of months. So yeah, I think we'll have to keep tabs on that. But cases still going up, Jem, in India, Mumbai especially.
Yes, quite. Like it's not that good. In between it, had gotten really good in Mumbai. So the lowest cases that we got in Mumbai was, I think, so 240 or something like that. But now recently in Maharashtra, I think just 2 days ago when I checked it, it was like 81,000 cases in one day. So that was like, yes, so that was a bit too high. So, I mean, it's also the kind of population we have in Mumbai and in Maharashtra because people have started working and, you know, they need to run their families and everything. And so, and this virus, it's like it just spreads like from one person to another. And wherever most of the places in Maharashtra and all are like very crowded. So even if one person gets, like the entire area gets it. So, I mean, that's been kind of bad, but yeah, that's how it's been here.
Okay. Yeah, South Africa, we've actually been on the decline. So you're sort of averaging between 100 and 150 deaths a day. But the cases, when I say day, sorry, it's not actually day, maybe in about 2 to 3 day period. So, but the cases of averaging between 1.5 to 3,000 every 2-3 days. Yeah, that's so. I mean, from where it was, I mean, we were going up at between 10 and 15,000 a day. So yeah, we're sitting at quite a big number, confirmed cases. But what has been sort of the silver lining in the end has been the recovery rate. It's sitting at close to 90%. So yeah, that's a good stat for us. Yeah, so it's going all right.
That is strong
under the circumstances.
Yeah, I think your numbers are quite similar to ours, Japes, in that they're not as bad as they were, but it's still hovering around that kind of 2,000 mark. But I mean, India, it's just so densely populated, isn't it, Jem? And of course, so many people need to go to work. Like they can't just work from home. So people haven't really got a choice. So it's just spreading a lot quicker, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And many people in India live on daily wages too, so they need to go to work.
Yeah.
They need to like run their family. And so yeah, it's been kind of difficult, but yeah, that's how it is here.
Yeah, no, sure. So a lot's been happening around the cricketing world, eh? Dhoni retiring from international cricket.
Jeremy's going to cry.
I think that in itself is quite a heavy topic. I mean, what has been the response in India, Jem?
I mean, you guys also might have seen it. The whole social media was filled with that, and so many fans were heartbroken, and everyone's like, retire the 7 number jersey along with that, because, you know, that's the kind of impact Dhoni sir has had on all of us. And, you know, it's been crazy the way he leads the team. I mean, you know, he is someone who also leads by example, and he is someone who doesn't stick to the books like, okay, if the book says you need to do this, you need to know. He trusts his instincts and he backs them. And most of the times you've seen he does things that nobody would have ever thought or imagined. And it takes guts to do that. So that's, you know, something he has taught all of us, and, you know, we'll really miss him. And yeah, man, I mean, it will be very weird not seeing Dhoni on the field. So yeah.
No, for sure.
And surely it was expected. A bit expected though, Jem, surely, like his age, and he's not really been in the India setup now for a little while. So were you surprised? Or was this just waiting?
We knew it was coming somewhere, but we didn't know right there. We thought he would have played a few games and then retired, but nobody expected it like in between the lockdown or somewhere like that it would just happen. So that was kind of a shock. Otherwise, normally we get certain hints and we're prepared. Okay, this is going to happen, but this is like nobody was really prepared for it. So yeah.
I'm wondering if the fact that the T20 World Cup had been postponed, whether he was going to have a bit of a swan song, at that World Cup and then possibly call it. But obviously with that, not happening and there's no confirmation of dates as yet, maybe just thought, what, maybe the time is now.
Yeah, that's a good theory. There's only one way to find out. We'll just get Jemmy to give him a little call.
Or we
could
just make sort of a controversial statement on here, and all of a sudden,
people are listening. People are listening.
It goes viral.
So yeah, JP Duminy opens up on why Dhoni retired. That's what it'll be. Yeah, the names will go global. I think what got missed in all of this is, of course, Suresh Raina also went very quickly afterwards. And of course, again, another India legend, but lots of people were too busy crying over Mahendra to actually acknowledge it. I mean, yeah, JP, another guy well, that's a big decision from him. We just had him on the show and he was talking about how he wants to get back to enjoying his cricket. He's struggled in the last couple of years. Were you surprised?
Yeah. To be honest, I wasn't surprised. I think it is definitely something that he would. I don't think it's a spur of the moment decision. I mean, even when he was speaking to us, it could have been something that was on the cards already. But obviously, naturally, he was not going to speak to us about it first and then publicly announce it. So, when you just know. I think you feel it. Your body tells you what needs to happen as well. But also mentally, you sort of weigh up your goals and ambitions, what drives you. He's got a family, a young family that he wants to be around. And yes, the family travels with, but it all comes down to what drives you at the end of the day, And I think he's certainly achieved a lot in his career. And he'll be extremely proud of what he's done and achieved and having represented India on many occasions. And still playing IPL, obviously. But, unfortunately, it didn't work out this year. But, he will certainly be remembered as one of the true gents of the game. And I certainly have that sort of picture in my mind when you think of Suresh Raina. You think about the most polite person in cricket, the most genuine, humble person in cricket. And, he will always go out of his way for you, even if you're an opposition player, always asking you about you, how are you doing, how's your family, but sincerely doing it. And I think that's one of the key things and the most genuine things that I will certainly remember about Suresh Raina. I think he still has a lot to offer in the game, and I'm sure we'll still see him around the domestic circuit.
Yeah, so there you go. If you want to see either of those guys, you need to watch the IPL. That's the only chance you're going to get now. We've had loads of questions of people saying, we want predictions from you three. Obviously, we know it's going to be taking place in UAE. Jemmy, this early out, I know, but what do you think is going to happen? Who are you tipping? Take your supporter hat off and actually think objectively. Who do you think could be doing well?
So, I don't know. Apart from Mumbai Indians, I've not thought of anybody else. So, a diehard Mumbai Indians fan.
Why did I bother? Don't know.
Okay, I think it's going to be a cracker of an opening game. It's a cracker of an opening game to start it off. Mumbai and Chennai. Look, I certainly think that those two teams will go toe to toe again. Phenomenal teams, and have really got the experience in the side as well as a few good youngsters. I do think though that Suresh Raina leaves a big hole in their side from an Indian context point of view. I mean, he's performed extremely well pretty much every year. So when I say leave a hole, it's not like anybody can't fill that. But I think he's been a phenomenal player and a match winner for them over a number of years. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up to the plate from that number 3 position.
Yeah, they could do with a like for like, couldn't they? A left-hander, someone who's got a bit of time on their hands.
Experience.
Well. You talk about the IPL. I'm going to be there, guys.
Are you?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
This was not on the WhatsApp group. I feel betrayed.
Nah. So I'm going to be commentating at the IPL. So
Nice.
I leave on Friday. So obviously this is a recorded version, but yeah. So excited about that. I literally got the news a few days ago, and I'm leaving. I'm down to leave on Friday, and I'm going to quarantine for a week, as I think everybody that is there had to do. And then the tournament starts on the 19th. So looking forward to that.
Man.
I'm disappointed you didn't tell us. I thought Liam and I were your best friends, but it's okay. It's fine.
Should we turn
you
on
don't need
video
to cover up.
If I was going to tell
it's
you,
fine.
it wouldn't have been a surprise on the show, would it now? Because now you would have.
No, you can cover up well. You can cover up well. So I'm not falling for that. Okay.
I didn't want you guys to pretend like you knew. I wanted to see the surprise on your face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Super Over is officially going to the IPL. Lovely.
Correct. And maybe we can get a few of the locals in. You know, you never know.
Yes.
That's it. Send you out on the streets for a match.
JP,
report.
get your contact list.
Wait, that's awesome
so
news. Who are you?
I'm excited.
Who are you doing it with? Who are you commentating for?
So I don't know the entire crew, but I think it'll be pretty much the usual crowd, sort of Graham Smith, Matthew Hayden, Kevin Peterson, I would think, Michael Clark, maybe Ian Bishop, Sanil Gavaskar. Yeah, so I mean all the big names that have been around the IPL combox for years. So
all the big names.
Are you going to be there till the end?
I'm not sure why I'm there. Yeah, I'll be there till the end.
Oh, nice. Then hopefully we can also meet, because we have the women's IPL. We have a few games, right? So from the 1st November to the 10th.
So that's the problem, eh? I mean, we have to quarantine, right, for a week, and then we're in this bio bubble for 2 months, where you literally stay in your hotel, and you just go to the ground and back. So actually, I can't see anybody. I mean, Faf is over there. I spoke to him. I was excited. I want to see him, and he's like, dude, we won't be able to see each other.
Oh yeah.
Because I think we'll probably be in separate hotels. Not allowed to leave the hotel. So I might catch him at the ground, maybe commentating. But I was actually having a conversation with one of the coaches this morning, and he was saying that he was having a conversation with an opposition player, and they were literally standing 2 meters away from him at the practice ground, and they got told, no, you need to separate. You know, they've been very strict about it. So yeah, it's pity, but I guess you got to do what you got to do.
Wow. Okay. So 2 months, nice little hotel room, and just commentary box. That's you. Com box, sleep, hotel.
Are you taking your family or just no?
Nah, they can't. They're not allowed to go with.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the main reasons actually would be that so we get special exemption to leave our country and possibly come back as well. Not possibly, we have to come back. But for instance, if my wife and family had to leave, there's no guarantee that they can come back until the borders actually open, because our borders are not open yet.
Okay.
So we've got obviously special arrangements to leave. But yeah, so 2 months without the family, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the situation.
Yeah, that is long. How do you handle that, JP? I mean, it's something that people always just forget about. Like, you go on tour to Australia for 3 months and everyone just thinks you're there for cricket. I mean, how do you just get easier? How do you cope being away from family like that with no break?
I think this one's going to be tough because, you know, having had 6 months at home now straight and not traveling anywhere, getting used to a routine with the kids, taking them to school, packing their lunches. And yes, I did that, Liam. So it's going to be tough, this one, because also the kids are 5 and 2 now. So they know when daddy's not around, you know, having to see them on FaceTime, stuff like that. I mean, I went away for one night, I think, to go play golf somewhere. And, you know, they're asking my wife, Sue, like, where's Papa? Where's Papa? You know, like, they kind of know. So it's going to be tough this time around. So yeah, one day at a time.
And also, since you are in your bio bubble and you can't meet like your friends and all that, so it will be even more tough.
No, so I'm still studying at the moment, so that helps. I've got a bit of work to do. I'm doing my level 3 coaching course. I'm busy with the Gary Kirsten Coach Ed course as well. I've just finished my strategic business management course. So there's a lot going on, a lot of work I still need to catch up on. So it's not a bad thing from that perspective that I'm alone and I need to sort of get my mind into it. But yeah, lots to do.
So you reckon we can do some recording from your hotel room in the UAE? There we go. We can have a daily, like we can record like this because you'll just be sat around in the UAE, won't you?
You did not hear what I just said. I said I'm not going to be just sitting around. I'm going to be studying, doing my work.
Sorry, that's all I heard. Yeah, studying. It'll be like, who's brought the Xbox? Who's got the PlayStation? Let's go.
Yeah. But it's also, I mean, it's a great time. It's a great time, I believe, to really spend a lot of time with God, and you know, you get. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself getting easily distracted with just the day-to-day mundane things that we do. And interesting, I wanted to share this, right? So I've recently started this thing with my life coach where he actually shared this with me. He mentioned that routinely now, every day of the week, he wakes up at 6 a.m., right? So that's before the family. And let's call it 6 a.m. till 7:30 is his quiet time and does whatever he wants. You know, that's his time. I thought to myself, let me try this. So now every weekday, I wake up at, let's call it 10 to 6. And I have to send him a message to say I'm up, to have accountability about it, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm up at 6 o'clock. My routine is 20 push-ups and 15 sit-ups. So that's what. But also, what I've found is it is amazing time, like quiet time with God. So I sit in one of the rooms in the house, and that is my quiet time from 6:30 till 7:30 in the morning. But it's been so powerful in the sense that my day is started, in my view at least, that my day is starting on the right foot. You know, it's starting in quiet time with God and really in prayer and so forth. So I found it to be extremely powerful. So I would like to still continue that in Dubai. So maybe we can make it 8 o'clock because there's a 2-hour difference, and which is 6 o'clock here. So it's still the same thing applies.
Have a lion, yeah. I'm with you on that.
I don't know about you guys. I mean, I've certainly found that particular thing very powerful, but also on the back of, you know, I find it quite challenging because of one, you know, family, but also your daily stuff that you have to take care of. That, you know, that becomes secondary. So now you're making it primary, and it just feels a lot more revitalizing. Yeah. How do you guys find that?
Yeah, I think that's really a good point you made. I think I'm going through something similar at the moment in that, I mean, it is a spiritual discipline to be able to put aside time to actually just spend with God, to slow down, to not be rushed, and just to basically say to the world, like, leave me alone for an hour. And of course, you've got things pulling on you, you've got work, you've got your phone buzzing, you've got people trying to get stuff from you. So I've been reading a couple of books at the moment, which are all about how to Sabbath well and how to slow down and be with God. And people always say, like, it's an old idea, isn't it, that first thing in the morning is the best time to just slow. You haven't got to do anything yet. You don't look at your emails. You don't go anywhere. You just have a shower, get some breakfast, do 20 push-ups, and then you kind of open the Word, or you pray, or you just go outside and look at nature or something. But I think there's something to that in that you haven't got any distraction, and your day's nothing in your day has happened yet. So you can, like you said, JP, it's starting the right way. And if you just give the day to God, submit it to Him, start by just taking in the Word, it really does make a difference in then when that annoying colleague says something, or you miss your bus to work, or you get out for naught, first ball, I think it does just armor you up. So there is definitely something about doing it first thing, but of course, some people are not morning people, so you can do it. I think it's just finding what works for you, but daily is the key, isn't it? Something daily.
Yeah, for
So, so for me, this lockdown has been something like that, because we were so busy in, touring, cricket, and everything else that, it was like you couldn't get that time alone with God. And that is actually so important. And in that flow, sometimes you don't realize it. Like for me, I didn't realize it. It was not that I wasn't praying. I was praying, but it was like just going through the motions. Okay, I have to pray, I have to do this and that. But this lockdown has actually taught me to, just withdraw yourself, just get some time alone with God. And, it's been amazing, like the things you get to learn about you, about God. And yeah, as you said, so for me, this timing has been in the night. So in the morning, it's a bit chaotic at home and all that. But for me personally, I find this time at night before I go to sleep, maybe for a few hours, I'll be just sitting there. And nobody to disturb also, because everyone's like almost asleep and everything. And in the lockdown, you don't have to really get up early. So, I found that time there. And it's amazing that, you have the same problems, you have the same people around, but your approach and your attitude towards them completely changes just by, spending time alone with God. And I have experienced that personally. And I mean, I think it's just about, experiencing that, and it changes everything. Then you don't have to like have a routine that you have to pray, but then you just want to pray because, you are finding, that peace on the inside, and, there's a rest on the inside. And then out of that you work, and you can be busy on the outside, but on the inside, there's just a calmness and a rest. So yeah.
No, I mean,
that's really cool.
That's great, man. And I must admit, like that kind of mentality, I think I started lockdown with. So like literally every morning I woke up, whatever time that was, because we were heavily in lockdown, right? So we were lockdown 5, and you literally couldn't leave your house. So it was literally everything slowed down because everything was closed and nobody needed anything from you. So I sat outside on the porch and just like soaked in the sun and read the word, and then life becomes busy again, and now you don't prioritize anymore. So by me doing this intentionally, I'm making that a priority, which has been extremely powerful. I wanted to share something with you guys on this recording, which has come up for me, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. It's basically a phrase of, it's not, I'm paraphrasing, so it's not necessarily scripture, but I think you will find similarities in scripture. And it states, we are not called to a place of comfort, we are called to a place of purpose. Right? So the reason why I wanted to bring that up, because I certainly find where I am, like mentally where I find myself right now, I find that one of the biggest challenges in trying to discover and understand where God is leading me, right? And I thought it'd be an interesting topic to bring up in terms of a discussion. One, you have myself, who's a past player, Jim, very much in the beginning stages of an international career, Liam, in the church circles, so it's an interesting dynamic that you have in this place of comfort that we sometimes, not actually sometimes, let's be real, I think we all seek that place of comfort, right? But yet God is calling us to a place of purpose. So it was more of a question, really. How do you receive that, and how does that encourage you in your journey?
Jem's looking at me.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead, Liam.
Yeah, I think, especially for this season we're in, I think comfort's been a bit of a danger word in that it's become so easy for us to be insular in what we do. So the pros of it is that, we can all go outside, sit on a balcony, have time with God. We don't have to see anyone because it's been locked down, and we can become very much like my own little world, which is great for slowing down. And I think that's a good discipline that we need to learn. But then the flip side of that is you get so comfortable that when we come out of lockdown, there's this tension where either you completely lose your routine and you just go back to being a flustered headless chicken, or actually what I'm seeing in some people is that they are then so comfortable that they don't want to go back to normal life in a way. So they're not socially meeting up with people, or they don't want to go to church, they'd rather watch it online. Or there's just little things like exercise. People have stopped exercising because it's cold outside now for us. So I think it can be a bit of both. But it kind of comes back to the point I was saying about us being so busy. We're in the West especially, it's so materialistic. Everyone thinks about money, possessions, themselves, that you can lose focus on what's my purpose here. And I think you can get very comfortable very quickly when we have a lot, and when we have lovely homes, we're comfortable, we own a car, we have a good job. I think that's where comfort comes from. So it's a real challenge, especially in this time. And just Jemmy, what you were saying about so many people across India have to go to work because they're living on a certain wage. I think that stops you in a way, that stops from becoming comfortable. And that's why so many of us here in the West are just ridiculously comfortable. We've just got very settled in the fact that we have everything we need. So I think for Christians to be a bit radical with that is a big deal. It's something we need to do a lot more of. It's not good to be comfortable.
And the beauty of this thing, I don't know if you've realized it, but like I've realized this, that every time I get kind of comfortable, like God's like, no, you have to step out, you have to do the things that you got to do. So it's been kind of that, because like God doesn't want you to stay in the same place again, and he wants you to keep going higher and higher. And also he doesn't want you just to live life for yourself, it's also to live life for others comes first. So I mean, it's this kind of realization, like nobody's a pro or an expert at doing this. At times we do get comfortable, we do just no, I'll do it tomorrow, it's okay. But it's just this, every time I've been in such a place, it's always like there's something pushing me, no, I cannot do this. And it's just getting out of that. So yeah, that's, I mean, it's an interesting thing that we're talking about.
And Jemmy, for you, you said that you found a really nice discipline because the cricket side of things has kind of left you alone slightly. Obviously in the next couple of months you're going to be going back into that fast-paced, lots of travel, lots of cricket, lots of public opinion. Do you have any idea how you're going to maintain the nice routine you found? Is there a way that you can do both so that you don't just go back to the old routine?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it a lot. There have been times coming, these thoughts coming in my mind during these times, like, okay, here I am at home and I am with my people, so it's easier to pray, it's easier to spend time, nobody's going to disturb you. But once you go there, will you be able to do it? So this is the kind of thoughts that have been coming in my mind. But I'm just asking God the grace to do it, and just trying to go ahead and not thinking too much about that time, and just focusing now and trying to be as close, as connected to God as much. And I believe that once I am there, things will just work out and happen well. So yeah.
Yeah, powerful, man. Yeah, I guess the key for us, I guess, is I wouldn't say challenging necessarily, but encouraging one another in that space, because what I've certainly learned about routine and discipline is accountability is important. As I mentioned there, having to SMS somebody to say, listen, I'm up. And that has propelled me to kind of get up, because there's a part of you that wants to send the message and kind of just like, okay, go back to sleep. But then there's that thing about it that's saying like, but who am I actually defeating? I'm only defeating myself by doing that, So it's important to have that accountability in terms of what you do as well.
Yeah, Jamie, if you want, I'll wake you up at 5 a.m. every morning.
Yeah,
you'll have only just gone to bed, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me,
or maybe I'll just text you back and go back to sleep again.
Yeah, you'll do that. Yeah.
I'm up.
Like, I'm reading.
Yeah.
What do you want to say, Liam?
No, go on, Jake. You were going to say something.
No, I actually wanted to know. Obviously, this recording was a little bit delayed, but you did ask. Were there any fan questions?
We've had literally a month's worth of fans' questions. I saved a few. Got some really good ones here. The first one is to me.
Oh yes.
Some people. Yeah, some people think I'm the big deal on this podcast.
You don't have the microphone.
This is going to crack you up.
I think that would just be JP on his second account, just making sure you don't feel bad. So he's like, okay, we'll ask Liam also a question.
Yeah,
man, so cruel, so cruel. Liam, sir, I have only one question for you, and my question is: are you South African?
Oh.
Ow.
He's obviously seen something in me that's got like some South African grit.
Okay.
So yeah, as much as I'd love to be South African and live in a little house in Cape Town like JP, no, 100% British. Well, yeah, a little bit of Scottish, a little bit of Irish. My name is Welsh, so I'm just an all-round British man. Priska, my wife, for those who don't know, is half Zimbabwean, half South African.
Well, there you go. You got a bit of South African in you.
Together we represent.
When two becomes one.
There was a great one in here. Two becomes one. Okay, one for Jemmy. Jemmy, how did this podcast start in the first place?
I think I had done an interview with you, right, Liam?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I do remember that. And then I think after the interview, you again contacted my manager, and then you asked, like, will Jemmy, or you asked me, I'm not sure about that. But then you asked, we are planning to do a podcast, so will you want to do it? And it's, like, we'll talk about cricket and also about our faith. So I was like, yes, I mean, I just knew, like, okay, I want to do this. So that's how it started to me. So I don't know about JP.
Yeah, it wasn't that straightforward for JP. Oh, he was like, how much are you going to pay me? How much time do you need? All this stuff. You were a dream, Jemmy, compared to him.
Sorry, what are you saying?
Quiet. Yeah, no, I kid. JP was also very receptive, so I led with that. Name drop.
There we go.
No, but it took a lot of time for us to start this podcast because we're still not getting permission from BCCI. Yeah.
Oh.
And then finally, that took a long time.
Yeah, good old BCCI.
Yeah.
Can't say anything else about them, but good old BCCI protecting their players. Okay, JP, who is the best co-partner? So I'm assuming this means teammate that you've ever played with. You can define co-partner however you want.
Yeah. So I guess the best way to describe it would be, batting partner maybe. I would say the best chemistry that I've had in terms of a batting partner was probably David Miller. So we generally swapped around.
You said that in the previous podcast.
Yeah, we've swapped around a few times in terms of batting numbers, and there was certainly a chemistry there in that we kind of knew each other's game. We knew what we needed to say to one another to get each other going, encourage one another, be there for one another, and it always felt like it was two against the rest, when we were batting together, and we had a lot of fun, which was great. And I certainly enjoyed a lot of time standing on the non-strikers end, seeing him smack it all over the park. So, yeah, definitely David Miller.
Yeah, you had his muscle, his strength, and then your mind, maybe? Just
Is that
get
all
off
you had?
strike?
Is that all you had?
Yeah. I'm waiting for Jemmy. Jemmy agrees with me, so that's all that matters.
I don't have any comments on this.
Let's go with it. Let's go.
Your finesse, that's it. The word I was looking for, JP, was finesse. Your touch and your finesse. Very underrated in the modern game.
let's cover that.
But it's very important. Okay, Jemmy, final one to you. This is a good question. Is it important to join an academy if you want to become a professional player?
I wouldn't say that you have to join an academy, but I would just say that it would benefit you even more. Because when you're practicing alone, it's just you and maybe someone, trying to maybe give you some throwdowns or something like that. But when you join an academy, you have variety. You get to learn different things playing in the nets. Sometimes you can play with boys, so that was going to enhance your game even more. So I would say it would definitely benefit you even more when you have when you go to an academy or you join an academy, and that's going to enhance your game even more. But I wouldn't say that it's 100% like, okay, you need to join an academy. I would just say that it's up to you, but I would prefer actually going to an academy because that's where you'll develop your game.
Yeah, I suppose for lots of, JP, you might agree with this, for a lot of cricketers, you always want to get picked up, don't you? So like an academy or to be scouted is like a recognition of you're good, come play for under 9s, under 10s of your district. But then there's not enough space for everyone, is there? So there will be those players who get picked up later and just go through club cricket. It's not always about, I'm an academy player. You can make it another way as well.
Yeah. There's a few options for sure. I think I wouldn't call it the easiest. I think the more preferred, rather, sort of route or direction would be via academy because you get recognized possibly a little bit easier or quicker. But again, it comes down to, runs and wickets that really, and ability and talent that really stands out. Particularly in a place like India, I would think you have a lot of scouts around and there's a lot of coaches there, and people talk about various players that come through the ranks. And, you've heard of many stories, Jem, I'm sure, about players that have come into the IPL but have literally come from nothing. They don't necessarily come through the mainstream channels. And here we have, this light bulb, coming through the IPL ranks. And it's a great story, because what IPL does well, they feature those stories pretty well to say, listen, this guy's come from this place or a poorer area or disadvantaged area, and look how he's come into the IPL and done so well. So, I think that in itself shows that there's not only one way to do it. So that's great.
Yeah, thanks everyone who got their questions in. I'm going to keep hold of these so on future episodes we can go through the reels. So if you didn't have yours read out, don't despair. There's still plenty of time. When JP sat in his hotel room in the UAE, I'll just send him reels and reels of questions.
Sure.
But yeah, this was our first podcast with the three of us since we began. We're not used to it now, are we?
Yeah.
No, it's been good though.
Three of us. Very nice. Good to actually just chat and catch up after a month break. So yeah, we apologise for that. Jemmy's already taken responsibility for why we didn't record. So direct all your DMs at Jemmy, and she'll give you a signed jersey as a makeup present.
Oh wow!
No, there's nothing like that, guys. I'll run short of jerseys then.
All of a sudden,
she can just pop over to Sachin's house and get one of these.
I knew that was coming somewhere.
Yeah, JP left it late, but he got it in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so JP, the next time we speak to you for this show, you'll probably be overseas. So we will be doing a nice little UAE special, see how JP's getting on with all his new teammates that he's got to basically live with for the next 2 months. And we'll see if Jemmy's still keeping her morning routine. Oh no, evening routine going on the next show as well.
Cool,
right, any final words, JP? Any finals?
I think there's some interesting times ahead for everyone. With countries opening, with borders opening possibly soon. Cricket, being or getting up and running again, and particularly IPL. I think everybody's excited about IPL, and I think from a cricketing perspective, there's going to be a lot of eyes on IPL. So I got to make sure that my antics are good enough for IPL commentary. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's just good to get out on the pod again and connect, and hopefully the people enjoy what we speak about.
I almost forgot. I think, Jemmy, we should challenge JP at some point during his commentary stint. He's got to plug the podcast.
Oh yes, you've got to promote your best friends.
Like you've got to at least make reference to, oh yeah, so and so was on my podcast. Da, 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 da. You've got to somehow make reference so that we get in there. Obviously, you're not going to be allowed to say go and follow the Super Over, but that's your challenge. You've got 2 months to think about it.
Did you guys ever see? There was one season, right? All the South African boys, we had this challenge that every time you did an interview, right? So we had this private WhatsApp group, and let's say AB and Chris Morris was going to be playing tonight, and if you had an opportunity to do an interview, you needed to say the word or use the word banana as an example in an interview, and you needed to somehow incorporate that.
So they would ask, how are you doing? Oh, yes, I'm doing good and all that. And just ate a banana. So, yeah, thanks.
yeah, something like that. So you have to come up with creative words. But, I mean, banana is an easy one, right? But they came up with some crazy words. And I think what happened in the end, they kind of picked up on it because the words just were out of this world. Because it ended up being some Afrikaans words as well. So how do you bring it in? And, yeah.
And what if you don't say that word? What is there any forfeit thing or anything like that?
Nah, there was like a punishment or something, but yeah, nothing exciting.
Okay, so there you go, Jemmy. We're gonna have such fun with JP being out there. We're gonna come up with some words.
If you don't, we'll definitely punish you. Don't worry.
Thank you. Grace, eh? Show me grace, forgiveness.
Okay, right. We'll love you and we'll leave you. We'll see you on the next one, JP. We'll see you soon. Safe travels.
Thanks,
and we'll keep up on our little WhatsApp group. So don't worry, we won't let JP get away with it.